somebody that I saw as there is a coming in, there is a coming out. I know that the enemy has been whispering down your neck and telling you it's not going to get better. But Ecclesiastes tapped me on the shoulder and said, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And I came to tell you that what the enemy has tried to use against you, God has already predestined for it to be your greatest assignment. Ephesians 1 and 11 says, God worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. Romans 8 and 28, and we know that all things work together for our good because we love God and we are the called according to his purpose. I heard Paul declare, though our outward man perishes, our inward man is renewed day by day. He says, our light affliction, which is but for a moment, and working for us, are far more exceeding an eternal weight of glory. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm getting ready for the glory. Oh, the hell that I've been through. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm getting ready for the glory. I've cried. I have to suffer. It looked like I went through hell's kitchen. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm getting ready for the glory.
Glory. Yes, God. Yes, God.
It's our attitude that determines our altitude. It's our outlook that will determine our outcome. See, the Bible says, God, the heart with all diligence. Why? Because out of it flows the issues of life. That's why it is imperative that you don't share a whole dream with a half-brother. God, I said something right there. See, Joseph got himself in trouble because he shared a whole dream to a half-brother. And some of us, we've been sharing whole promises to half-a-nothing people. And that's why our spirit becomes broken and frustrated. Simply because God is trying to train our spirit to carry the glory. See, when you got an assignment from God, you can't be frustrated. When you got an assignment from God, you can't be detoured. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm a container of the glory. Look at your neighbor and say, in me contains the glory. Yeah. I heard the Bible say, that we are containers. Look at your neighbor and say, I contain the glory. Touch not my anointing, nor do my prophet no harm. Touch your neighbor and say, I'm a container. What's in me is precious. What's in me is valuable. What's in me is costly. I have to pay a price for where I am right now. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm a container of the glory. When you look at me, you're looking at a miracle. Because I should have been suicidal based upon the assignment. I didn't say the attack, but the assignment that God put in me. Sometimes the assignment will cause you to feel like, God, what in the world you're doing in me? Look at your neighbor and say, I'm a container of his glory. So, the process is the equipping for us to become the prepared people, to handle the prepared place and position, which is the promise. I said, I know you got a prophecy, and I know there's a promise hanging over your head, but you're going to have to go through through a process. Have you ever been in a place in your life in which you had more questions than you had answers, God? I said something right there. Have you ever doubted the call based upon the condition that you were in? And you said, God, how in the world could you call me and it looked like I don't have provision to the vision? It looked like I can't be sustained in the place that I'm in. Isn't it funny? Isn't it interesting? Yes, that sometimes that the contradiction that you're facing is the confirmation of your call. Isn't it like God to put you in a tight place and it look like you're not coming out of it, that there's something on the inside that won't let you give up? I know you got folk in your ear telling you it don't take all of that, but look at your neighbor and say, I know I'm called. Yes, I said touch your neighbor and say, I know I'm called. Yes, all the scars I have to bear, all the tears I have to cry, all the hell I have to endure, I know I'm called.
Thank you, Holy.
So, got to close. Time I give you 3 points and a poem. So, here we find, God help me, I feel like I'm back in Long Island here. We find that Elkanah had 2 wives. He had 2 personalities, God help me. He had 2 perspectives. He had 2 menstrual cycles. He had 2 different dreams. Yes. He had 2 dysfunctions living in his house. But one he loved, but her name was Hannah. But Hannah could not bring forth. And in Old Testament Jewish custom, if a woman could not bring forth, she was deemed to be cursed by God. And so it is here that the Bible says that yearly Elkanah would go to Shiloh. And Shiloh at the time was a religious center. It is where the tabernacle was. Touch your neighbor and say, I want to thank God for the tabernacle. If y'all help me preach, we're going to get out of here because I feel like eating now.